It is wonderful to see you. Thank you for joining us. And I wondered if you could tell us, where are you at the moment, and what are you working on in between our fall and our summer season in San Francisco?
Hi, Matthew. It's good to see you. I'm staying in Europe until March. Now I came back to Vienna State Opera for a run of Puccini's La Bohème for the second time. After Vienna, I'll do a Verdi Requiem with Rotterdam Philharmonic at Dutch National Opera in Amsterdam in February. It'll be
that is staged, right?
Yes, it'll be staged with ballet. And it's actually my first time to do a staged version of Verdi Requiem. And in March, I'll make my debut at La Scala with La Bohème. And also it's funny that by then, I'll have all 3 Zeffirelli Bohème productions done.
Oh, really?
Yes, at the Met first, and then here in Vienna, and then at La Scala in March.
Wow, well, lots of exciting things coming up in the coming months. Well, as we're announcing next season in San Francisco, it's hard to believe we're already there, but it's very exciting. And as we've talked about in the past, over the coming seasons, you're going to be taking us on journeys through the music of Wagner and Verdi. And we'll have one opera in each of the seasons coming up. I just wondered, what is it about the works of those 2 great composers, Wagner and Verdi, that make these so important to your time as music director in San Francisco?
Well, the works of Wagner and Verdi are cornerstones of the operatic repertoire as we know it. Wagner and Verdi, they blazed new trails in the tradition and also in their countries in their time, and drastically changed actually the world of opera forever. You know, as a music director of an opera company, you have to set priorities for the collaboration with the orchestra that leads to the artistic growth of the company. And with this in mind, I have decided to work on the operas from these 2 giant, the giant composers every year, enabling continuous development of the musical style and our shared craft. As you know, Matthew, since the beginning of my career, I actually have tried not to specialize in one style or in one composer, but working with an orchestra over several years, like for a long time, means that you have to really make fundamental decisions and set priorities accordingly. And also because Wagner and Verdi are already core repertoires of our company, San Francisco Opera, it was only natural and logical for me to continue this work.
The Verdi you're doing, the Trovatore, that's the second Verdi you'll have done with us. But for the Wagner and the Lohengrin, it will be the first of the Wagners that you're doing on this journey at San Francisco. How do you think about entering into that stylistic journey with an orchestra as you begin your journey with them?
As we just talked about, the continuous focus on one composer, I think it unites the orchestra and the conductor, and it makes us grow together. And I'm really excited to begin with Lohengrin because this is one of Wagner's last romantic operas, and also the opera he wrote right before Rheingold. So throughout his life, Wagner made incredible developments from opera to opera in styles, like almost reinventing himself with each work. So when we think it is nearly impossible to understand how the composer of Rienzi was able to create the Holländer, and also from Holländer to Tannhäuser, and then again Tannhäuser to Lohengrin. There's certain similarities in various moments in Wagner's language, but basically, I think our continuous pursuit would be to find the way he uses the instrument and also drives the drama with them. Again, the Musikdrama, as we call.
Then we go into Trovatore, and as I said, this is the second of the Verdi operas you're doing with us, actually written in the same year as Traviata, which we just had on our stage. And Traviata is in many ways more of a domestic tragedy. Trovatore expands that horizon into something more epic in a way, but always in Verdi, you keep coming back to the relationships, to the characters, to the way that people interact with each other. What do you feel it is in Verdi's music that allows him to be so vivid in the way he expresses characterization?
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about this family situation, his early life, but there was very interesting question actually when you asked that, but I honestly I can't tell if that tragedy of his early life, that trauma really became the reason why he chose this subject or not, because I think although his early career was deflected by this tragedy and trauma, he overcame his despair by composing operas, making music. So I think maybe we can see here and there the fatalistic or very harsh characterization, but in general, I'm not sure if we can say Verdi operas are either more family focused or family oriented or more like large chorus operas. Certainly, as we're going to perform Trovatore this year, there are places like in the duet with Azucena and Manrico where you can barely breathe when you hear the harmonies. And I remember when I conducted this opera for the first time in an orchestra reading, the orchestra and I only had goosebumps playing this number together. I mean, I remember that moment still, and how, I mean, horrible that was. I mean, the music and the orchestra music, it was in Copenhagen in Denmark. That was very special. And yeah, that's why maybe I wanted to do this project with the orchestra as well, to find really the language together and the music and the style.
And then the third opera you're conducting in the season, the Magic Flute of Mozart, one of my favorite pieces. It's such an interesting piece written at the end of Mozart's short life, but a piece that he took out into the folk theater. It was written in German, in the vernacular, not in Italian, and this amazing expression of humanistic ideals. So you have the esoteric nature of the piece, but you also have this very kind of raucous comedy as well. It's an amazing fusion of different elements. And I'm just curious how you see the piece sitting musically within Mozart's output.
Well, that's why it's very hard to study. It is actually tricky, I think, because I believe that the Magic Flute is above all, I think, a model of the path Mozart, wanted to continue in the future. However, due to his early death, he was not able to do so. But the Magic Flute itself, I think, as you said, it's a complicated mixture of the folk theater, and Enlightenment efforts. I think that also has to do with the completely different personalities of the creators. And the text was written, as we all know, by the poet Emanuel Schikaneda, who also played Papageno in the premiere, but also at the same time was an impresario. So he wrote, actually he wrote for the audience of his time, meaning it was about filling the house as well. And we all know that Magic Flute had such success from the very first moment. And as you and I already talked about, Schikaneda and Mozart, they were also both Freemasons. And also Mozart wanted to secretly include various symbols and actions in the piece for their friends, Freemason friends. And the best example is the number 3,
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with E flat major, which has 3 flats,
Mm-hmm.
and starts with 3 chords, etc. at the
Right.
beginning
Right.
in the overture. But I mean, all of these, I think we can take this as information, where it comes from and how it was created. But I think we actually don't think about it during music making. So once music is there in the room, I think music speaks by itself. And also, if you didn't know about the Freemason part or the number 3, the piece itself is just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The overture, for instance. And when you know the part, why he uses this number 3, and even with that condition that he created such music, it's again genius as well. So either way, he was genius.
But 3 extraordinary works unsung: Trovatore, Lohengrin, Magic Flute. These are going to be amazing journeys that you're taking us on. And I'm just so excited to be announcing this season with you, and even more excited to get into it and to bring these works to life in our beautiful theater. So thank you for taking time to share some of your thoughts about them with us as we launch the season into the world.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Matthew.
We'll see you soon back here in California.
Yes. See you.